Hello, and welcome back to Podcast with a K. We are back with another episode for this new year, joined here on this fine Sunday evening in the studio by none other than Ewan. Welcome.
Hello. Transatlantic, one of a kind, very first.
Absolutely.
Flying in from across the waves.
Absolutely iconic. Through the magic of the internet, we are here and we are making it happen. Thank you, Virtual Studio, for making this possible.
Only the best. The
Indeed.
finest.
Only the best for you, my guy, and only the best for all of my dear listeners.
That's all you can do.
But we are here. We have a phenomenal conversation lined up because it's just
Weeks of planning.
Weeks of
planning have gone into this. Try to find a timeline that just connects.
And the way that this even happened was the way that I love for things to happen, which is absolutely just by chance and in genuine, organic, entertaining manner. In that, upon meeting, a conversation that came up, there were a couple of different words that were, I would say, lost in translation, but they're all English. In any case, phrases and words that felt foreign. And luckily, we developed the confidence to be able to ask without feeling judged or feeling ignorant for not knowing. And that then sparked a spiral of, hey, by the way, do you have this? By the way, what's this? Of just the difference between American and British life, because we're exposed to a lot of each other's culture, I feel like. But there's just the daily intricacies that just don't come up. And so,
especially like in modern media now.
Yeah.
We get like a lot more American media, as we'll call it.
Mm-hmm.
Because we've gone away from the good old days, as my grandma would say, of the BBC.
Right.
It's not that anymore. It's a solid mix.
Yeah.
Anything and everything.
And that's just
so
kind of what it does.
To all this American stuff.
Yeah. I mean,
but I doubt you get half of mine.
We probably get a significantly lesser portion of y'all's media just because of how the US is. But we all grew up with Harry Potter, so at least there's that.
How long did that take? How long did it take to get to Harry Potter?
We are at a runtime of 2 minutes and 40 seconds.
Nice.
But
take it.
There are things here and there that are British. Obviously, that's one of the bigger ones. But I feel like there's the funny thing to me is that there's more things that are British and we just are completely unaware of because it disguises itself in. That's the way to make it big in America. Pretend you're an American thing already. But there's a lot of artists. There's a lot of actors and actresses specifically or directors or writers who, by association, the show is that, or the, piece of media is that. And we just have no idea until they do an interview and it's like, wait, that accent, hold on. I'm
Henry
sure
Cavill's just coming out here.
Dude, Tom Holland is quaking right now.
I didn't know he was British and I was like, pardon? Excuse me?
Oh, you're one of us?
Where did you come from?
Right. But we do have quite the lineup. Even today's musical selection, I had to learn. Except for one of them because the accent is very obvious, but it just is that fun little discovery for someone like me specifically, I think, who, as y'all have learned by now, thrives off of learning of other cultures because, I grew up in a place where my culture wasn't even particularly well explored. So now that I have the internet, I'm like, yes, please tell me everything there is to know about everything. So that's why this conversation happened and that's why it works. So not joking, for those of you who have the video feed, whether it is on Twitch or on Spotify or on YouTube, I will show you for anyone who is listening through the audio version only on your preferred podcast listening app or on WECS 90.1 FM, best radio station in the world. Shout out to Eastern Connecticut. Support your college radio stations. I have here a notebook with a list of terms that have come up in conversation of, hey, what's this? Hey, do you have that? Hey, explain this, right? And I wrote down only the ones. There's a lot. Yeah. I was going to write down both of ours, but there is so many. a lot of me asking, as you're just talking about whatever happened in specific story that you're telling me, wait, hold on. What's that word? Explain that word. A lot of them are just slang terms for things that we do have. So I only went through.
A lot of mine are like very local though. So that's like the other thing is like there's like, if you imagine it like looking down at the UK, there's like wide, and then there's immediate narrow. And because of my dialect and where I'm from, a lot of mine's like very narrow. And you'll find that in the UK of like, I can go across the valley and I won't be able to talk to anyone.
Right.
I have to concentrate to speak like this. It's that bad.
So I'll ask you 2 questions. Where specifically then are you from? And can you give us an example of your genuine, natural, normal accent?
So I'm from West Yorkshire, but a very like small. If you know who the Bronte sisters are, I'm from that village, and we talk with a very thick dialect. So give me a sentence or some type of phraseology.
I want you to introduce the podcast. Hello, welcome back to Podcast with a K. I want you to do that spiel.
Hey, how's it going? I was beaten back to K podcast. It's quite awful.
That's not English. It's so, not like, English.
Brittle.
You guys,
it's a solid mix.
You guys need a specific word for that as a language. I'm pushing for it. That needs to be studied. I need to know what that means and how to say it.
Like the other thing though is like it's not purely English. It's like I have a mixture of like Old Norse from when we were the Viking capital of England. Gone are the days. Terrible times have occurred since.
Tragic.
But then it's like Old English, and then we were like, oh, we'll just remove all the letters.
Yeah.
Who needs them? Who's not saying them? Just get rid of them.
In that I think,
like,
yeah.
If I go to like Hull, it's Hull, but I'll just say Hull.
Hull, just the L's.
Hull. Or Harrogate, as my mother will say, because she thinks she's terribly posh. But
quite.
to me, it's arrogant.
I feel like there's a good similarity there to be shared with the American South. I mean, because I learned English a little bit later and from like a mixture of people, right? Like I had teachers who had very urban accents, very rural accents, but they all had a bit of a southern twang. And so there are some words that I picked up with a twang and other words that I learned non-regionally because my parents speak English, but they learned English elsewhere, right? Like my father learned English. They both learned English in school, but where they developed it from, like, for example, my father has words that are affected by a Greek accent because he spent so much time living in like a Greek area in New York, right? So there's a bit of a mix.
Yeah, I see. So like I have the same thing, but with Swedish because I'm learning Swedish because I plan to move there. We'll see. But my dialect comes across in Swedish, so I've been told I sound like a German child trying to learn Swedish backwards.
You could pass it off if you were a little bit blonder.
It's awful. I know. So close. I've got the blue eyes. I'm halfway there.
Bleach the hair and you can just accept who you were meant to be in another life.
Move straight across. It'd be easy. I just can't speak the language at all.
It doesn't matter. You have the accent.
Yeah. Immediately in.
Exactly.
I don't know if they'd say the same.
Yeah.
But it is what it is.
It is what it is. For example, that's a phrase.
I say that all the time, every day.
But like
15 times.
It makes sense when it's explained. It's just it'll be all right, but it'd be right.
We get rid of the letters.
And you know what's funny is, so Ewan had told me this at some point because he had typed it and I read that. I was like, huh? What?
What's he saying?
It's like when you hear it, it's fine. So it's the opposite of the dialect, right? The dialect, you say that and I cannot pick up those words, especially because you speak rather fast. But when you type it, I'm sure it would be easier to identify. The slang, however, is the exact opposite way because you type it phonetically. But in my head, I'm like, wait, is that a completely other word? But I was at a concert. I went to see Bring Me the Horizon open for Fall Out Boy. And the singer, I believe, is from Yorkshire or at the very least nearby, because he was like, when he came up on stage, he said, "Be right." And everyone just cheers. And he's like, "You guys don't even know what that means, do you? Let me teach you something." And so for the rest of the show, like in between songs, he'd say it and then the crowd would say it back. And I was like, I know that one.
I think that's the weird thing of like the UK. All of our music, for some reason, appears to come from the north.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm from the same county as like the Arctic Monkeys. Oasis was formed 45 minutes like over the Pennines.
Yeah.
The Kaiser Chiefs are from my local town. Ed
Do you
Sheeran was
guys
born up here and then moved to the south.
do you guys have like studios up there or schools, or is it just
No.
it happens to be that
People with barns and guitars.
it's
There's not a lot
developed
going
because
on.
that's what there is to do?
Yeah, even then.
Man, you guys live like the good old days when people could just sit around and play music.
Strum the banjo.
Except for now it gets commercialized and people become
Oh,
global
immediately.
superstars, but
Yeah, as fast as you can.
it's going to become like an oversaturation, like how everyone's from LA or New York. It's going to be LA, New York,
Everyone's
and
from
then Yorkshire.
Yeah, everyone's from here.
Oh,
One way or
man.
another.
The same way people pick up the New York and the LA slang, Yorkshire's next, dude. I'm calling it. Calling it now.
Great. Love it.
So we have a thing planned in which, as I mentioned, I have a list of all the things that that I didn't know what meant and vice versa. And so I thought it would be fun on air to go through these because some of them we've explained to each other, but others we were like, yo, what if we did this on the podcast? That'd be hilarious. And so list does exist now and we are here on the podcast. So I think it'd be a great time to kind of go through as a bit of a refresher course, right? Did you learn? And also here's ones that may have been left out. So do you want to trade off? Do you want to go first? How are we doing this?
Can do. My first one is actually terrible. It scratched me. That's terribly awful. Right. If I were to say to you, what is a Mr. Whippy? Because I told a lot of Americans while I was there what this is.
Mr. Whippy.
A Mr. Whippy.
Okay, Mr. Whippy. If I were approaching this from a completely like, I don't know what that is, I would be concerned, right? Mr. Whippy sounds like the guy that tells all the cows to get out of the yard with a whip, right? Or something awful and outdated like that. However, with context clues about this having been a conversation that you explain to Americans, and the conversations that we have are usually about food, I'm going to guess, because I know that in New York we have, whenever I was there, I saw like a bunch of trucks that said Mr. Frosty. I'm guessing that Mr. Whippy is ice cream.
Hey, you're right on there, to be fair. So we call it, so it's soft serve ice cream, and for some reason it's like Vacuum and Hoover, how we've just declared the brand.
The brand becomes, or like Kleenex and tissue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So a Mr. Whippy, it's called that because the soft serve whips round.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So it's a Mr. Whippy. I don't know what Mr. Whippy's doing nowadays, but you know.
Thriving, obviously, off of a global
he's got
success.
To be, he's got an army of ice cream vans.
Okay. Okay, this is perfect. This is a perfect trade-off then, because the one that I have to ask you, do you know Saran wrap? What is Saran wrap?
I do, but only because of the television.
Okay.
It's very rare that I see it.
What is then Saran wrap?
I know it's like the thing you meant to like wrap food in to keep it fresh.
Yeah.
But I'd call that cling film.
Right.
Because it clings.
Yeah. So you're right. It is cling film. My parents do not know it as Saran wrap. They know it as plastic wrap. I grew up knowing it as Saran wrap because similarly, it's the brand, right? And so like all of my teachers, whenever like we did like arts and crafts, they'd call it Saran wrap. So I learned it as Saran wrap. And I'm like, cling film, like sticky film, like for your camera, like what is cling film? So I had the opposite. I had to learn that one.
Right. Yeah.
All right.
Joy to do one now.
Here you go.
What is a butty? Do you want it in context?
No. Yes.
Brave. I like it.
Okay, we're going with no.
Go on.
Is it perhaps peanut butter or a stick of butter?
No, but it does involve butter.
Okay.
It does involve, or as I'd say, butter. It does involve butter. So a butty is a sandwich, but only when you have at lunch, or maybe tea, depending, if you've been to the chippy. So it is literally just like a sandwich. I'll have like a bacon and egg butty.
Right.
Or butty, because it's got T's in it, and I get rid of them. Or if I go to like the fish and chip shop and I'm like, hey up pal, can I have a fish and chip butty?
Mm-hmm.
It is just like a fish and chip
What
sandwich.
makes it lunch specific? Why couldn't you eat this for breakfast?
You can do, but
Unheard
it's one of those
of.
things where it's like you just call it a butty. It's just a sandwich that you're having at a time. It's more because like I wouldn't just go like I wouldn't say to myself, "Oh, I'm gonna have a butty." I'd say, "Oh, I'm gonna have a sandwich." But because I'm talking with people about it, it becomes a butty.
Mm-hmm.
So we do the time-old tradition of putting crisps in sandwiches. So it's like, "Oh, I'll have a crisp and cheese butty."
Right.
So that's like, yeah, that's where that comes from.
Yeah, I'm putting that one down as a no. I had no idea what that was. Have you, since asking, learned what is a crab rangoon?
No, I'm terrified.
Would you like to guess what is a crab
What's
rangoon?
a rangoon? A dodgy crab stick?
No.
Does it involve crab? Is it actually crab?
Yes.
Like the crustacean? It
Yes.
is. All right.
So what is a rangoon?
A baked good? Are you having like crab cake?
So kinda. So it is you usually get this like at a Chinese restaurant, and it is a pastry with crab and cream cheese inside, and it's like in a very unique shape.
Cream cheese.
I don't ask me to explain why. I only know what.
I feel like that's gonna be.
So like I don't know. Do you eat sushi? Are you a common consumer of sushi?
Really weirdly, I've only had sushi in the Nordics.
Okay.
So like I've had it like twice.
So I mean, similarly to how a sushi roll, I guess, would be fish and cream cheese. Maybe it's just like the perfect bonding agent. I don't know. I don't know why.
Cream cheese in sushi as well.
Okay, well, maybe sushi's also different there than it is here. Some rolls have it.
Going on about here.
Some rolls be having cream cheese. What do you want from me?
I think the only time I've had cream cheese is in a cheesecake, and that's purely because the only cream cheese I can get is Philadelphia.
You know, in Spanish we call it Philadelphia cheese, not cream cheese. We call it queso Philadelphia.
Yeah, so that's the like the same thing for me. That I wouldn't go up to someone and say, "Oh, do you have any cream cheese?" I'd be like, "Where's the Philadelphia?"
Yeah. Man, that one's interesting. I want so badly. There's got to be someone whose job it is, right, to track like slang patterns. Yeah. But for like things like this, I don't care the etymology of the word. I don't want to know the history. I want to know why we call it Philadelphia and why we call it cream cheese.
I think it's because that brand was just like
how iconic is the brand, maybe. Yeah. Like if you think cream cheese, though,
television advert.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, you know, it's Philadelphia, but I don't know. Maybe it's like in different states we call soda different things, or pop, or carbonated juice drink. Pop. Right? Mm-hmm. You would have called it pop.
I would.
Yeah. So in the North they call it. Some people call it pop. Soda is known. But in the South, a lot of places will just ask if you want a Coke. What kind of Coke? Oh, like cherry Coke? No, do you want a Fanta? Like, a Fanta? I'm like, well, that's a whole other brand.
I think that's because, like, for me, soda means something different.
Baking soda?
Wait, it doesn't. No, it's like soda is soda water.
Oh, right. Sparkling water.
There is nothing else. It is, yeah.
Yeah. I remember I had this conversation very recently. We went to a restaurant that asked us if we wanted sparkling or still.
Television static.
Exactly. Okay, I like sparkling water, but it made me remember in my youth when I was taking a class. I think it was either when I was taking Gaelic or Arabic. In any case, whatever. All of the teachers and the international students were friends. They were part of the same program. And one of the guys was German, and we'd all gone out to eat, and he'd asked for soda water, and everyone was like, soda water? Like, yeah. Like the thing that comes out without the soda syrup. And he was like, yeah. And everyone was like, why? And he's like, that's not a thing here. And no. And I was like, hold up, let me taste this. And it literally just tastes like angry bubbles.
It does.
I don't mind it. And now you can find sparkling water that's flavored, but what doesn't have like actual like sugar in it. So it's like, it's like if somebody was cutting fruit in the next room and you were carbonating the water here. So like
the mist of an orange.
Yeah, I mean, I started doing it when I was doing Invisalign, because you can't drink sugar. You can drink sugar. You just have to brush your teeth every 5 minutes. And I was like, I'm not doing that. So I became a real static water type of girl.
Like, that's the thing to me is we still have some CRT TVs because I live in the middle of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
So my pub where I've been today has a CRTV, and like if you drag your hand across the front,
yeah, you can feel it.
Like that to me that is like so like sparkling water.
Yeah. That is exactly what that
Like,
tastes like.
I
Yeah.
mean, my mum thinks I'm mental because I'm there like, ooh,
No, that's
that tastes like a television.
that's the common attitude here. Sparkling water has got an
Yeah.
acquired taste. It became more popular recently now that like carbonated like hard seltzers are everywhere, like White Claws or like
What is a White Claw?
a White Claw is a
Because I see this on like on my phone all the time. It's
yeah.
like, oh,
So
some
White
guy called Kyle smashed like a
Yeah.
White Claw. And what's a White Claw?
Kyle's do be smashing White Claws. They're the preferred drink of like sorority girls and frat boys because they're cheap. It's
Now, what are they?
It's soda water. Okay.
You gotta like break this down.
Okay. Soda water, but with alcohol in it, usually vodka,
Right.
and a little bit of
Okay.
flavoring.
Mm-hmm.
Low calories,
And is
low
this
money.
like a student drink?
It's like
Or,
the
the
choice of drink because
right.
again, it's cheap.
Mhm.
It's strong enough, I guess. And then also, as a side note, it looks like soda cans. So if your school is like the type that be suspicious about alcohol, oh, it's just a pack of sodas, whatever. Everyone knows, but
Yeah.
it doesn't clink and it doesn't break if it falls. So, fraternity and sororities, you guys don't have those.
Not to well, I didn't go. That's where the weird part of my life is. I didn't go to uni because I did an advanced level apprenticeship.
Right. So they're essentially societies that are ages old of, I guess, technically networking circles. Like they usually have some sort of humanitarian cause that they raise money for. And, you know, it gives you a network that if you go to apply for a job and you're like, oh, I was Kappa Sig. Oh, me too. That's the idea.
What?
What it actually is oftentimes is you pay money to live in a different dorm and party all the time. Like the movies say that, and everyone's like, oh, it's not like the movies. As someone who wasn't in a sorority and had friends in sororities and frats, it's like the movies. They just like to party.
Right. So is this like the thing where it's like, the random Greek assortment of numerals
yes,
on the wall?
that is those people.
Right, I've seen this on the television.
Yeah. You know, it's not every frat guy, not every sorority girl is...
I've seen this in like Mean Girls once.
Yeah, exactly. So it's them. Not everyone is like that. A lot of them are like that. Because honestly, I think my theory is they all learn that that's how they should be from the movies, and that's just who they become. But that's my theory. No hate, no shade to frat and sorority kids out there, but a little bit of judgment. Like you guys know me enough to know there's that in there. I feel like every cop I was like, oh, my best friend was in a sorority. Yeah, and I told her the same thing. Why would you do that?
Why?
Like you can whatever. That's a separate conversation. We did go over White Claws, but that wasn't on the list. So moving on to a different one. It's your word up next.
My word.
Yeah.
Oh, this one was terrific. You'll like this one. Right. If I were to say the following terms, what am I referring to? A bap, a cob, a tea cake, and a roll.
I know this one because of roll. It's the word for the little round bread.
Hey, yep, dead on. So I can distinctively tell where you're from in the country by how you refer to a bread roll, which is my favorite drinking game. Like whenever I go anywhere, I'm there like, what do you call a tea cake? And they're like, a what? Like a bread roll, what do you call it? And if it's a cob, they're from the East Midlands. If they're a bap, they're a dodgy person. And if it's a tea cake, they're from the north, or at least like my area of the north. And if you're a roll, you're usually Scottish.
Okay.
Or like at least getting to that point.
Roll of yeah.
It's literally just like bread.
Of all those words, roll is the one that made it here. The only thing that changes is it's a bread roll, a dinner roll, or a bun. If you call it a bun, you're probably from the south. If you call it a dinner roll, northeast. Bread roll, anywhere on the west coast. In my experience, anyway. Yeah.
Makes sense.
All right. What do you call, and do you have, an animal that is a small rodent known for playing dead?
What? No. You gotta remember, my list of animals is like sheep, pig, cow.
I only mention this because it's come up in conversation.
Is it a possum? Is it a possum?
Yes.
No. Is it? Yeah. Okay. I was gonna be like armadillo.
No, that just roll up.
Yep.
possum. Yeah, y'all don't have possums.
Right. We don't have possums. I know the Australians do, and they're different to yours.
They are.
They got the big eyes.
They're terrifying. Yeah, an American
like
was
yours,
just
though.
go around.
I've seen yours on like Instagram and that. It's just like a little happy guy who gets a bit frightened when he sees people.
Yeah, and they do
Don't
be
do
around. They
anything.
don't do much. Like most wild rodents, like,
Hey.
oh, what if it has rabies? But it just be there eating your garbage and playing dead.
If he wants a wrapper out at bin, you go for it, pal.
Like, I'm not doing anything with that. Go
Yeah,
crazy.
you do you.
All right.
Like how you have raccoons.
We do have raccoons.
Don't have them. They do in Finland for some reason.
Huh. Why?
But
Snuck
they
up.
have like a raccoon dog. So it's like a hybrid dog raccoon.
Actually?
Yeah.
Like, kind of
I'll
like.
send you a video after this. It's like kind of weird looking.
That's kind of like
Imagine
how
a
we have like
Pomeranian on
wolf
roids.
huskies, but holy cow, a raccoon dog is terrifying
It's
of a
literally
concept.
a Pomeranian on roids, and it'll get you.
Pomeranian on roids. My question is, do
Yeah.
these have little grabby raccoon hands? Because if you're calling this a
They'll get ya.
Pomeranian with hands is a terrifying thing that
It's
should not
terrifying.
exist.
Yeah.
I don't want that in this world.
Like the only video I've seen of it is like it dashing across a field at you, and it's terrifying. It's like it's small, and you could punt it, but it'll get you. It'll latch on.
Oh, hell no. Hate that. Hate that.
It'll get you.
Absolutely not. Here we go.
Right. So this is catering to my Scottish people. What is an eckelfeckin?
I don't know.
An eckelfeckin. Oh.
It sounds like a swear word. My guess is it's a swear
No.
word.
No. I wouldn't do that too. So an eckelfeckin is what I would describe as a biblical tart, as in it is quite possibly the best baked good in the world.
Okay.
It's like a small, like, do you want to know what a mince pie is? I can't even use that as a reference.
That's a little.
Do you know what a mince pie
the
is?
little
It's
like meat pies,
pie.
little tiny ones.
No, it's like a pastry like shell,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just got like oats, berries, and everything in it. It's only very small.
Like a little hand pie.
But,
a little
yeah,
bitty bitty.
but it's also like a place. So like whenever I drive to Glasgow, I'll see like eckelfeckin, and I'll know I'm halfway.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also just a really fun word to say.
Yeah.
Just like, oh, I love me an eckelfeckin.
Okay, wait. So what makes this tart so special? What makes it?
They're only from Eckelfeckin, as is in the
So
name.
it's like the exclusivity of the thing.
Yeah, and you can only get them, at least I've found it at Christmas time, so I've been hoarding them. I've got a cupboard full of Eckelfeckin tarts.
As you should.
It's just the best. They're like,
yeah.
Oh, you won't even know what a Bakewell is, because there's no Bakewell in America. Oh,
No.
it's all falling apart.
It's your turn to break down the sentence.
So, like, a Bakewell is a place near Manchester, where the tarts are from. It's like the same kind of pastry, but with marzipan in it.
Mm-hmm. I know marzipan.
All right,
I know
marzipan.
marzipan.
I don't have to explain that one to you. I'm not a baker. But you shovel a load of that and put a cherry on top. Great do.
I feel like this is very sweet. Is this very sweet?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is like you have one. And
yeah, and then you're set.
Don't put sugar in the tea with it because you need to offset.
Yeah. This is
there are hard to find rules on what you can have with afternoon tea.
Yeah, of course. I feel like that could be its own entire follow-up episode of just tea etiquette.
4 hours. I'd need a PowerPoint, a big board.
I'm gonna make you actually do that for a follow-up episode then, because that's something that I feel like everyone should have to study before going anywhere abroad. Just etiquette, but specifically tea etiquette.
Oh, it's terrific. You need to know which saucer, which spoon. Love a good saucer.
Indeed.
I will say I'm quintessentially British.
That's a very
difficult to find anymore.
It's a British very good way to put it. Ain't nobody. If you look up British, it's your picture.
It's me. Yeah, I am there.
You look up just like what does it mean to be British? It's a picture of the tea, the Dales, and then you, and that's it.
Yeah, I'm just there like, it's me.
Amazing.
Britain.
Love that. All right, what is a parody?
Pardon?
Parody.
A parody is in like Are you saying parody or parody? Is this a bird?
Is that your final answer?
No. Is it like the musical thing where it's like this is a parody of this?
Close. It doesn't have to be musical, but
I'm relapsing to my like 2012 Minecraft parody, like when I was a child, being there like, yes.
I'll give you the point, because those are parodies, but parodies don't have to be musical. It's just a comedic reinterpretation, usually, of previously existing media. Is the best way I could put it. But yeah, it doesn't have to be musical. Can be musical. Usually is musical. Nice. Doesn't have to be. Yeah, I like that your point of reference is Minecraft parodies, though.
Yeah, I was there like, where have I seen that before? And it dredged up my like 2012 childhood.
Yeah, I didn't realize that one wasn't universally known as a word, though.
I think it might be, but I think there may be some issues with British copyright laws that prevent some of that happening here more often.
You know, they're often frowned upon by the original company anyway, but...
Yeah, it's that and getting into British TV licensing.
Yeah, maybe it's more strict. Did you know...
It won't be shown on the BBC if it's a parody of something from the BBC.
Funny little side story about BBC licensing laws. Whenever I first started the podcast, I had a transition audio clip.
Effect.
I had a sound effect from...
I'd heard that before from a BBC show. I was
like, what are you doing here? So I looked up a library of just like free use sound, and I found a little like it sounded like a little laser gun, and I thought it was sick. I'm positive it was from like Doctor Who or something. But I used that as the transition sound, and I'd never had a problem with it as long as it's in the description. That's the attribution, and as long as it's not commercially used. And because the podcast wasn't, it wasn't ever a problem. When I tried to upload it to Spotify for the first time, I got a copy strike notice that said remove all copyrighted audio, and I was like, it's in the attribution, like what? And they wanted me to like change like the formatting of it. It has to be like as standalone segment so that it's clear that it's the BBC's audio, which was so funny.
Surprise me. That's what my TV licensing fees are going towards.
Dude, I panicked because I'm like, I've been using this like on air, like on national radio. Oh no.
The British Broadcasting Service will be after you now.
Every time that there was like a knock on the window while I was in the actual studio, I was like, oh my god, they found me.
So that's the thing here of like the TV man will come. If you're not paying a TV license, he will find you.
Actually?
And technically, under British law, they have the right to enter your home to prove that you're using a television legally.
Oh my god.
But you have to, so you can have a I think this is like where this gets lost in translation, is it's not like having I can own a television without a license. It's not that. It's paying for the right to use the free channels. So like BBC One, BBC Two, BBC Three, BBC Sport.
You have to pay to use the free channels.
Yeah, so that's where they get you. It's you pay your TV license for the upkeep of the British Broadcasting Company. But if I was to just get a television to stream Netflix, I can do that.
Right, because you're paying for the Netflix service.
Or if I got like cable and just watch Sky.
Mm-hmm. I don't know how that... I guess here it's mostly advertising and private donors, because I'm trying to think, like, you don't pay for the public channels here. Like, there's... You can pay for cable. Like, I grew up... a PBS kid, well, like like I mean, cable and streaming channels, right? Yeah. So you know, if it was like Disney, Nickelodeon, like I didn't grow up with that, so everyone's like, "You never watched SpongeBob?" And I'm like, "I didn't have SpongeBob money. What do you mean? I was a PBS kid."
I was SpongeBob money.
But I
love it. That's so good.
I didn't have it.
I didn't have SpongeBob money. What do you mean?
I mean, it's true though. Like and the thing is on PBS, like that's the public broadcasting service, right? So it's like, you know, news, like, you know, I don't know, antique shows.
Wasn't Mr. Rogers?
Yeah. So like cartoons and kids shows were usually there. And so in between shows, they'd be like, thank you to sponsors and viewers like you. And I'm like, I helped. But they would also be like, they'd also be like the Arthur Vining Davis Foundation, or, you know, and the fact that I know that name, it's because like it was always there. Like Northrop Grumman, like the donors, I guess, of the station.
Northrop Grumman? The aerospace company was sponsoring PBS.
At some point. Why else would I know that?
Really weird, but I assume there was something more going on there.
I wish I could tell you. Again, I don't know the whys, only the whats.
Oh, yeah.
But
I'll
yeah,
take it though.
that's
pretty
crazy.
good.
And then normal television has advertising. Like you don't. I mean,
Who
you buy
needs
your
that?
TV and your antenna, and that's it.
And then and then they still for advertising at you. Terrible.
Yeah.
Terrible atrocities. BBC wouldn't have this. We've still
Wait,
got David Attenborough.
are there not commercials?
Not on the BBC, no. Because you've paid the TV license.
Man,
so.
How much is this? Like a year?
It's not. It's like actually no. It's gone up recently, purely because of the cost of living.
Right.
Terrible times. Brexit. Definitely not helped.
You poor thing.
So it's like I don't know how much it is now.
How much
paying?
ballpark would you say?
Part of me is thinking it's in the hundreds of pounds, but not much.
A year?
Yeah, so a yearly fee.
I'm trying to think if that's worth it, because 100 sounds like a scary number, but I mean that's what Netflix would cost a year, or what it would have when it was a normal price and not $1,000,000.
So it's £160 a year.
So it's the same as paying for any streaming service, but it's all the channels.
So you get like BBC iPlayer, so that's on demand. That's all of the BBC catalogue from the beginning.
Okay.
So I can go and watch like series 1 of Doctor Who and be like, oh, terrific.
Right.
But there is also a thing of like, if you're old, so like my grandmother, who's a pensioner, gets hers at a reduced rate of like £50 a year.
Okay. I mean,
if you don't pay it, they'll find out. They'll come find you.
Will they actually? Like, are there stories of them having actually done this?
It's like on the UK Reddit is hilarious for this. Of people being there, like, I've just had television licensed man round, fooled him again. He'll find you. They come round with allegedly they come round with a van. Because like back in the day when my dad first got a television, they rented one, but didn't pay the license fee. And they had a van that went round with like a spinny antenna, and it'd like lock on to the signals that paid. And I was like, I don't know if that's true. But...
Wait, so like, what do you do? Do you just hide your TV if they come to your house, or what?
The way that they can gain access to your house is if you are displaying evidence of having one. So if you have like a satellite dish, they can be like, you're watching the television. Whereas like my house had every house here has one because you just inherit it.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna go up a ladder and take
Does it have to be? Oh, I guess. Okay, it has to be like a proper physical antenna.
Yeah, it can't just. Yeah.
So okay.
Most houses in the UK just have one because.
Right. Here, I guess only the like streaming, like the cable services have or satellite TV has the antennas. Everything else was like the rabbit antenna that would be in your house, I guess, on top of the TV. And then they switched to HD TV, which was just like the digital like box that would pick up the signal. Which sucks, kind of, because before, if the train, I live near train tracks, if the train went by and the signal got spotty, you just move the antenna, right? And somehow that helps. Here, it's over because it's digital. So whatever interference the train is causing, it's over. The microwave will make the TV stop working. Why should I have to turn off the TV to use the microwave?
You want cooked food? No.
You either pick Mr. Rogers or you pick dinner.
You pick Mr. Rogers or you don't eat. What do you want?
If you say no, the ghost of Mr. Rogers will show up in your house.
Yeah, he'll get you.
He'll get you.
If you do it 3 times, oh dear. I live in a valley as well, so I can't get. So I have to have cable.
Yeah.
Now, so the television man will never know. Those cables are underground. But I can't physically get signal because I'm in a valley and I'm like halfway up one of the walls.
Yeah.
And the mast's at the top, but it like bends. So I can't get any signal.
Tragic.
Unless we have a helium balloon in the corner. If there's a birthday and someone gets a helium balloon, we can get free view.
Are you serious?
Yep. Terrific time.
So why don't you just always have? Why don't you just always have a helium balloon?
Just can't be bothered to use television that much.
I guess in this day and age, Back in the day, though, that would have been the life hack. Can you imagine?
Yeah, my dad would have been all over that.
Insane. So if anyone's listening, looking for TV hacks,
if you need television hacks, you man.
But if you're the TV man, this is all jokes. Obviously, this is a parody. This is a parody.
HMRC is listening to this.
I'm going to put parody in the episode title. That way, everything we say is legally protected.
Fine. Yeah.
Man.
So if the BBC happen to be listening, this is all for jokes.
They know about the show because I got copy struck for using the audio.
Is this just like an entrapment case? I'm gonna go downstairs tomorrow for crumpets.
We got him, boys. We got him, boys. Roll in.
David Attenborough's gonna kick my door through and be like, "How dare you!
Oh no!
I've been going to Gibraltar for years to catch a monkey video. You've been paying for it. How dare you!"
This is accidentally a setup. This is this is the movie where like the person walks in and they don't realize they had the bug the whole time.
Yeah, they are the wire.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry to have done this to you.
I think I could outrun David Attenborough. I think we should be okay.
If you do record it, I think that's good content.
Great television there.
I mean, I'm sure they'll have like it professionally recorded, like to catch a killer or whatever. But you know, just we want the handheld vlog footage because that's what'll do numbers online.
Yeah. Oh. I was chased by David Attenborough.
Not clickbait, serious.
Not clickbait. Yeah. Like his face just like massive and me like.
Yeah. Just arrow, circle, enhanced.
Oh, that's meant to be. To be.
See, this is a production company in the making, honestly.
Yeah. Transatlantic.
We're out here. No one else could ever reach these levels of brain power.
Oh, never.
It's because we have helium balloons in the corner. We're just
yeah. The balloons are there.
Yep. The balloons are there is a phenomenal sentence. I'm gonna.
That's a T-shirt in the making.
Podcast with a K. The balloons are there. Exactly. Have you seen those memes that are like, my therapist, this isn't real. The thing exists. The balloons are there. The balloons are there. All right, your word.
My word. Pick a number between 1 and 4.
4.
I've got more, but I'll break it down. What's a lift?
Elevator.
Hey,
I know that
one. Do you know what bubble and squeak is?
No, but I read it in Harry Potter and then just didn't look it up.
Culinary desires. Any guesses?
Bubble and squeak. Bubble and squeak. Mouse soup.
I'd probably better than what it is.
What is it?
So you have some cooked potato and some boiled cabbage and mash it together and then put it in the oven.
Why is it called bubble and squeak? Why is it called bubble and squeak?
It bubbles and...
Does the cabbage squeak?
If we were doing this in the daytime, I'd just ring my grandma and be like, "Grandma, why is it called a bubble and squeak?"
Right. Alas, late night TV. What can you do?
Terrible times.
For during the follow-up episode where we explain the rules of tea, we'll also have the answer for why bubble and squeak.
Get my grandma in.
All right.
Do you want another food one related?
Yeah. Let's do it. Let's do a food run.
Toad in the hole is.
Toad in the hole.
Delectably British.
This when?
It answers a question from earlier as well. So this is
Toad in the hole. Okay, well that actually answers nothing because nothing that I've thought of it would have the explanation of toad in the hole. Is this when you have a green vegetable such as maybe a broccoli in a bagel?
No, I can see where you go. A bagel?
Yeah. Y'all don't have bagels.
No, we do, but I'm wondering why you're putting broccoli in one.
Well, it's got a hole in it. A toad.
I see. So, all right. It answers what you... So, it's sausages in Yorkshire pudding.
Oh, okay, so I finally get to know about Yorkshire pudding.
So, Yorkshire pudding, it's not a pudding. But
everything is just...
So it's like pancake mixture, but you don't fry it, you bake it, and it makes like a fluffy...
Okay, like a sponge cake type thing. Souffle?
Kinda. Yeah, more souffle than anything. And it's like... You put gravy in it, put some sausages in it. I don't know why we call it toad in the hole, but it's like the sausages stick out, so it looks like something going in a hole.
Like it's a toad in a hole.
I assume. So we have it on Boxing Day. So how many days ago that was?
Yeah.
We had it. Still some left if you want some.
Dude, down. I'll be right over.
On forever. Yeah.
Okay, this doesn't sound bad. That actually sounds like that sounds like a nice hearty breakfast type food.
Probably won't have it for breakfast, but
What would you, or when would you have that? Is that dinner?
this is dinner.
Hmm.
Like hardcore dinner item.
I feel like sausage and like that type of like softer bread, that's more of a breakfast thing here.
Yeah, well, so we've been developing Yorkshire pudding technology has evolved
Right.
into the burrito.
Uh-huh.
So we will now have a roast dinner, which I think in America is called a pot roast dinner.
Yeah.
So it's like boiled veg, gravy,
Yeah, like with
and a roasted meat of some description
pot roast.
in a Yorkshire pudding wrap.
Okay.
We're evolving. This is the part in Jurassic Park where they go, they're evolving. It's happening.
Amazing.
We're eating weird stuff now. Not just fish and chips.
I love that. That's actually kind of iconic.
You should have seen me in America. I was like, what is this food?
Yo, I can't wait. If this meetup happens and we're all there,
Yeah.
this podcast episode has to happen again in real life.
Yeah. Because like Quig actively like kept me away from things that would kill me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But then Quig was away for some amount of time getting married.
Right.
As that happened. And I was on a table at his wedding of other Europeans. So it was like 2 Norwegians and a girl from the Netherlands.
Mm-hmm.
We were all there like, what is this? There was waffles with chicken. What is that?
Chicken and waffles is a staple of the country, honestly.
It's a dessert food and a dinner food. Make your mind up.
That's breakfast, actually.
Or is it dessert? Why are you having that for breakfast?
Waffles are a breakfast food, and the chicken, I guess, kind of shifts us into the brunch space. So maybe brunch, not quite lunch, because again, waffles are a breakfast food. So brunch, that's a brunch food. Honestly, anytime I go for brunch, that's my go-to. Some sort of fruit smoothie type thing, maybe.
So if I were to say you're going to like an unlimited brunch, what does that mean to you? Because I think these may be different things.
So hearing unlimited brunch, I would think that's a buffet maybe, and I can just have as much food as I want. Unlimited brunch, apparently, I learned the hard way, means that you just get unlimited like mimosas, which is champagne and orange juice.
This is the same thing. But you can also just get beer.
Yeah, I mean, getting unlimited alcoholic beverage can be a good thing, but it's 11 in the morning, and I just want more waffles.
11 night. I thought that is.
It's chaos. Chaos.
You should have seen me on the flight to Quig's wedding. I got unlimited like BA provided beer, and I was like, I
don't mind if that does.
Let's go for it.
Yeah.
And an American lady was like, "Ooh, you can have ginger ale," and I was like,
I couldn't I? But would I?
This?
Do you not know ginger ale?
I do now. We refer to it as ginger beer, but it's very different.
Ginger beer exists here. It's a different thing. Ginger ale is just the syrupy version of ginger beer. Yeah.
Because it's like ginger beer makes me actively feel like I've just bitten like
a stick of ginger. Yeah.
I like just chomp down on a stick of ginger instead of drinking it.
I kind of I've got to say,
ginger ale is like bubbly.
Yeah, exactly. I gotta say, I'm not a big soda fan because most sodas here are made with corn syrup, and I don't like the feeling of it. Ooh. And like foreign sodas are usually made with sugar. So if I drink soda, it's usually because it's from another country and it's got like some specific flavor that I don't usually get. Like tamarind soda is one of my favorites, or apple soda. Whereas of sodas that exist here in the States, McDonald's Sprite, just for the experience, feels like directly biting a power cable, I think. And then ginger ale. Those are my go-tos.
I rate it. That's good choices. I mean, for me, it's like the only time this is gonna make me sound like an alcoholic terribly. The only time I have like pop is when I'm mixing it with.
Yeah.
And even then, that's a rare occasion for me because I drink like bitter.
Oh, okay.
I drink bitter and whiskey and lager.
Yeah, I mean,
now thanks to Quig wine.
Oh, you became a wine guy.
I did. It was awful.
Red or white?
It was red, and it was painful. Well, they had these like big 2-liter bottles, and I was like, "Oh, nice." And then someone there just gave me like a liter of it left, and went, go on. I was like, okay.
That was supposed to last you your whole trip, not one night.
I finished it at the table, and I woke up the next day.
You know what? As you should. Rally, keep going.
Terrified for who'd I embarrassed, and I was like, oh dear.
You came out of this with an alter ego, didn't you?
I did. Ween. Ween is yeah. That's all because every American's phone doesn't understand that my name is a name.
Which is interesting because that is
Ewan McGregor.
Yeah, that's a popularly known name at this point. Yeah, you'd think autocorrect would know by now.
Yeah, but no.
Alas,
I'm Ween. Ween to the Americans.
That's all you will ever be here. Unreal. I'm so sorry.
After the sheep. And let down.
Tragic. This is another reason we should cancel iPhones, but no one wants to listen to me, man.
Too stuck in the ecosystem now.
Ugh, it sucks. You know what? In high school, I was one of them. It was just so convenient.
I still am. It's
you know what did it for me was every time that iMovie crashed without backing up my save. That was it. Oh, and actually, I give it another chance. I went back to iPhone. I had an iPhone SE, the little one, for a little bit, and then it was the same.
I've only had SEs until my new phone.
Well, so I mean, it was the same battery as the 6 and the 7, which you might remember because they're the ones that would blow up. And so, I was happy with my SE. I was like, you know what? I could live this life. Maybe after this laptop, I'll get a MacBook for like sound editing and things like that. And then my battery bloated enough that it cracked the screen. So I was like, you know what? Y'all figure y'all's issue out. I don't need it. And so now I'm actively anti-Apple. Except for I did get AirPods for graduation from my friends. Like they all pulled together to get me AirPods. And I just... the noise cancellation is so nice. Every train ride, every plane. I don't even hear the kids anymore. It's beautiful.
Yeah. I got like the AirPod Gen 2s and I was like, oh my god.
Yeah. Oh my god, they're amazing.
Every flight I ever take now, I'm like, oh.
This is what it feels like to be happy and at peace.
Yeah.
Oh man.
It could be dead. I'd never know.
Crazy. Alas. I can't do it. I cannot go back to iPhone. Maybe someday. At this point in time, I'm still stubborn. I refuse.
Yeah. I mean, the only good thing for me is it's like texting over Wi-Fi
and
internet because a lot of my communications are international.
So that's what I was going to say. I would agree, but there's so many other apps around it. Like Telegram exists, WhatsApp exists, Facebook Messenger exists, like emails also exist. Google Chat is kind of crazy.
I don't know how to use them. I'm looking it up.
One of my clients showed it to me, and it's so convenient. And you can also get a Google number, like with your phone number. So, you have your phone number and then use the Google number as a phone number, and you can talk to anyone, anywhere, like whatever. So now I have like my number and then like my alternate number.
If I go into Europe, I can use my phone like my normal phone because EU data roaming means I don't get charged extra for being in Europe with my provider. But I was in America and I got charged like £36 a day.
Oh my god!
And I was like, "What? Pardon?"
Absolutely not. There's Wi-Fi everywhere. You don't need that.
I was like, "Quick, please hotspot me, please." Don't make me do this.
That's why the Google number is so convenient. Everyone has a Gmail account. You just gotta hook it up and you're set, dude.
Like 4 of them. Easy done.
I have a lot of emails. All them free trials, man. They just rack up.
I had that, and I was 12 once, so some of them have horrific names. But
all of mine still have pretty embarrassing names. It's fine.
I was really lucky. My like professional ones, like my name, the initial of my middle name and my last name, and I was like, oh.
Perfect.
Can't get any. That's probably why I got my job. They were like, oh.
They said that is a clean looking email.
Yeah. They're like, oh, get him on.
My name isn't crazy common, but it's common enough that I can't ever find it as an email because there's a girl who is like a comic book writer or illustrator or something, and then there's someone else who's, I think, some sort of director in Mexico. So I can never find my name; it's always taken. So that's why I have so many different usernames. I just whatever. Who cares? Find me somewhere, and if you can't, that's on you.
Yeah, I tried.
Yeah.
That's all you could do.
And they're all linked together. It's always the link in the description. So if you really want to find me, you can find me. It's there. Just gotta look. See more and just have at it. Speaking of see more, would you like another guessing game?
Yeah.
All right. What is the difference between a Hot Pocket and a pizza roll?
you storing hot? What is a hot pocket a food item?
I think comparing the two makes it so that perhaps they could be related. Yes.
Is a hot pocket a dodgy calzone?
Yeah, if you want to describe it that way, sure. It's the wrong shape, but yeah.
A pizza roll is like a Swiss roll, but of pizza.
No.
No.
So a hot pocket is about this size. For anyone who can't see, it's about the size of my hand. And it's like the pastry.
Great contextual clue.
It's
right.
The pastry, and then inside it'll have the sausage, cheese, whatever. So it's like a tiny calzone, but also rectangular.
Right.
And then a pizza roll is literally just a tiny version of a hot pocket. Different breading, I guess, different pastry because it's like baked in the oven rather than microwaved.
By
but
something in my life, I thought
pizza roll.
Like,
you'd think, right? And
like
so
a Swiss roll. Do they have Swiss roll in America?
Yeah. We have Swiss rolls.
Yeah, so I was like, oh my god, a Swiss roll pizza.
And so since we don't have that, you know what people will do? They'll get like the pastry that comes in a can, right? And they'll make those. They will lay out the pastry and makeshift pizza roll croissant type shape. And like, there's your pizza roll. Or cinnamon rolls.
That makes more sense with the name.
Man, now I kind of want to do that. I want to make like if they were like cinnamon buns, but like with pizza stuff. Oh, that might be dinner soon. That might be dinner soon.
That might be for breakfast if I keep going.
We're almost near the end of the show. Don't worry.
Plenty of time.
All the time in the world.
Silly midnight. So, I've done that one. What is the national animal of England? Do you know?
Wombat.
Hilarious. No. That would be probably the Australians. So for us, it's a lion.
Do y'all be having lions like that?
No.
Why is that your national animal?
I don't know. Do you know what the national animal of Scotland is?
No, sheep.
A unicorn.
Scotland be the type. Whatever.
Yeah. And we were there, like... At least no. I was going to say, like, the most angry animal we have is the cat. The Scottish wild cat.
You guys have a ridiculous angry cat, yeah.
To be fair, I saw a house cat and I was like, he's a Mardy bugger. That is, yeah.
I don't trust it. If I saw that thing, I'd be like, carry on, my guy. I'd cross the street and just keep going.
I mean, he's gonna rip my arm off. Be dead. Can't do that.
What is a porcupine? You mentioned porcupines earlier. Or armadillos, I think. So it made me think of an animal
Is this the one
we've discussed.
That's like a dodgy hedgehog?
Yeah.
That like shoots stuff at you.
It doesn't shoot them at you, but they do stick. So follow-up question. You know what it is. How big do you think a porcupine is?
I'm looking for like animal references in my room and I won't feel like a bear. I've seen like some Reddit posts where like a dog's tried to eat one, so it can't be that big.
How big would you say it is?
Like an oversized football.
They're pretty big. So I've seen a couple of porcupines at like different like events where you get to learn about animals.
Oh right, like gone to like a football game. Like here's a porcupine.
Halftime show, just a porcupine.
Yeah.
Man, I think I would like that so much better. No, so I would say they're about the size of like maybe I was gonna say 2 soccer balls for us, 2 footballs for y'all. Like you have the right idea. They're about that high, but they're big oval guys. Like the ones that I saw, one was little and one was like about the size of like a watermelon that you would have to hug to hold. I like having to come up with different ways to reference size instead of using our measurements. So like if you were gonna hold a watermelon, you could hold it in your hands, but those that are so big that you have to like hug them to hold them. Like the big old ones, that's the size of the porcupine that I saw most recently. The thing was huge.
Are they common? Is it angry?
I wouldn't just stumble upon it. I guess they just they're mostly at zoos. But there are wild porcupines. I'm looking this up for full disclosure. This
is like the weird thing of like there's a guy in a village with a meerkat. Nowhere else. He's got
Okay,
one.
casual. It
Takes
says
it for walks and everything. It's great.
well, I mean, I can't laugh. I take my turtle for walks.
Little guy.
He's a
got little
cutie.
legs.
He's a little itty bitty boy. Where do they live? They live just kind of in general in North America near Virginia. So that's funny. That's in my area.
Not a clue where that is.
Virginia's the northern side of me. So
written about it.
West Virginia is a different place.
They're different places. Oh
yeah.
dear.
Porcupines start to the north of me, West Virginia, upwards, and then towards the west. So I live like in the one region where we don't have porcupines, which is lame.
Disappointed now.
Tragic. I'm gonna have to travel to see a porcupine.
Sounds like a new trip. Planning it as we speak.
Writing this down.
And then go find a porcupine.
Okay. Next question. What is a snow cone? Do you know what a snow cone is?
An ice cream?
Kind of. Would you like to specify?
You're shoveling snow into a cone?
It looks like it. It's more so like shaved ice.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah.
Are you just like putting flavored things in it? On it?
So rather than doing that, you put like flavoring syrup. So it's kind of like just, I don't know, like really...
right.
Really
so
sweet,
we
really
have an
sugary.
Alcoholic version of this.
Do you?
So you know Smirnoff?
Uh-huh.
In that company, do you have the thing where it's like a pack you put in the freezer?
Yeah, and they like become slushy.
Yes.
Yeah, we have those.
That's my only near equivalent.
Yeah, we do be having those. But they also just make them for kids. Snow cones are for kids, so the packaging, like for the slushies that are alcoholic, says not intended for anyone under 21. Because here it's 21.
Oh, yeah, that's a thing there, isn't it?
Yeah. Mentioned butter before. What is a stick of butter? How much butter is a stick of butter?
So, you see, this infuriates me. My old recipe book's American, so everything's in Fahrenheit. Everything's in ounces, and I'm like, well, what is this? I can't read this. And it's like a stick of butter. Is that predetermined? Is it a stick? A stick of butter.
So what would you say is the proper measurement of a stick of butter, though? How much butter?
Merely 50 grams.
I actually don't know the answer to this in grams, so I'm going to have to look it up.
What's it in ounces? I have a rough idea of ounces.
So a 75? Stick of butter is...
Please tell me it's a round number. What should be like 112?
About 4 ounces or 113 grams.
Right. Okay, I can see that.
Equal to 8 tablespoons in imperial. I guess. Maybe.
I love how people just there, like, we're not going to give you a form of measurement. We're just going to give you more spoons.
Yep. Just have spoons.
It's, just pile them up.
All right.
You get, like, the spoons of all the measuring bits.
That's how it is. Do you have any more on your list that you wanted to go through?
I have a couple.
Okay.
We can go for rapid fire if you wish.
Yeah.
So, what is meant by the term by gum, last I tell thee I'm knackered? Or as I'd say, by gum, last I tell thee is knackered.
The only word I'm even picking up in that is knackered, and I'm going to guess drunk.
So knackered means tired.
Okay.
And by gum is like an expression of like great, like, oh. Like, Like, yeah, Bayek. That doesn't help either.
No, it doesn't.
It's just like, oh dear. Can't believe this.
Can't believe you've done this.
Last refers to a lady. So it's like, if I have a girlfriend, I would refer to them as my lass. I'd be like, all right, our lass.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's just, man, girl, I'm tired.
Yeah, pretty much.
It sounds so much cooler in your accent than mine.
Mine, I always feel like my accent's like one of the worst ones as well, because it's like, it's not like what every American wants a British accent to be. Because I don't speak the Queen's English.
Again, Harry Potter. That's our British accent, or Doctor Who,
Neville,
I guess.
Big man Neville from Down Road.
The homie. Right.
He grew up 40 minutes away from me in Leeds.
Which is insane because we're just waiting on him to do music now.
Have you seen him? He's had a glow up.
He looks insane. I
know. He
I
turned
think...
up in like a random British television show. It was like about a team deployed to Afghanistan, and we made it into like a sitcom.
Of course.
As we do.
Sure.
As you do.
Mm-hmm.
And he's called Tower Block because the area in which he grew up is just tower blocks. And I was there like, oh, the bullying.
Oh,
I love it. It's great.
Insane. That's, nicknames this is an entire different spinoff as well. Nicknames are a thing that I've come to realize are just a very like specific thing, because y'all will call genuinely someone that for that. I've seen a lot of memes recently about Spanish nicknames being vicious, and I was just like, oh, I thought everyone just had nicknames like that, because here nicknames will be like from your name, right? So Matthew will become Matty or something like that. But my dad had a friend that they called the Thumb because he looked like a thumb.
Oh my god.
He was bald and round and looked like a thumb. And so I, having grown up with that, I was just like, oh yeah, all nicknames are just a derivative of something else. I have a really nice, cute nickname. My nickname comes from the word for like, from the word for like gorgeous, because I was a baby, tiny, itty bitty baby child, and everyone thinks baby girls are beautiful, and so my nickname's cute. My sister, when I was a kid, I couldn't say baby, so her nickname is like a twist on the word for baby, which is adorable. But then I grew up knowing people like Thumb.
So I was referred to as Spud.
Did you look like a potato?
No, my dad just had this affinity of potatoes.
Just potato.
So for years, he still does it today. He'll text me a picture of a potato and go, "Here, I eat." I not bad da. So cheers. Not going too bad.
That's amazing. You are a potato.
Yeah, but then at work, I'm renowned for having like a thick accent. So if we ever go on like the international calls, because my job deals with like a lot of the Nordic countries, I have to have like a translator on hand, just to be there like, come on.
No way.
Because I speak so like, especially if I get something like passionate. So like a lot of my projects, I deal with people who I'm particularly angry at because they've not read my email. Right. And they're like, David, tell me I didn't think, pal, that's what you're doing. Ask me Martyn to buy. They totally got that steel beam 200 up from Martyn there. And I think my manager's like, what are you saying, man? You can't do 200 beams,
maybe?
Saying.
I have no idea.
So basically, I designed like a lift, and a steel beam needed to be moved 200 millimeters up. And I didn't read my email, so I was like, "I'm telling thee, you need to read the email. It's 200 back the beam there. Needs to go up 200 mil from back there beam down at bottom. You can't be doing that." And my manager was like, "What are you doing, man? I don't know what you're saying. Calm down. Take a chill pill."
That's so funny. It's
I'm
insane because like in this specific context, right, of the show, of the podcast, like I feel like it's been very neutral, very like posh leaning. But I was gonna say, why would that be so difficult at work? Why would you need to get so like angry? But it's very much life or death if you're designing elevators. So like, maybe read the emails.
Like, and especially because like, a lot of mine are like international, so it's like I'll design one in Sweden. Because getting into like all the lift breakdowns now. the EU covers like European normative, and because Britain's so close, we still come under it. So I can design something in Europe, and it's the same across the board.
Okay.
So then when I'm there, like, why didn't you read my email? I get like a bit mardy, and you won't know what that means either. Mardy refers to the term of just being stemily angry.
You're getting heated.
And in the song, it's in an Arctic Monkeys song, Mardy Bum.
So it is. I never knew what that meant.
So it just means you're just being mardy, and you're.
Yeah. Man, I'm going to listen to Arctic Monkeys with so much more context now.
No, I think that's the thing though. In like Arctic Monkeys songs, I hear stuff and I'm like, that's funny. I relate to that. Like your mate Stella. Does that mean anything to like you, like in the song?
Would it mean like your homie's great?
Oh, right. No, so Stella, it's like the pint.
Oh,
so
okay.
And her mate Stella is referring to you're pissed.
Yeah, because Stella.
Yeah.
We have Stella here. Like, that should be obvious, but it's not.
It's one of those really weird things of like, if you don't know, you don't know, and then you just hear like something random, and I'm there like, oh, that me, yeah, I relate to that on a daily, and then I'm like, oh, no one else does.
Right. See, I thought you were saying stellar, like the adjective. Yeah.
Yeah.
Man,
times.
this is great. I'm having a blast.
From here.
See,
it only goes further off the rail.
I'm over here like, man, it sucks when people from the north make fun of me for saying y'all, and your entire like dialect is genuinely like a dialect. It's not even an accent. It's
just
a full combination of other languages in your area.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Well, sometimes it's really helpful because I just like talk mad nonsense. I had to think about the nuts where I was like, "Oh, what other words can I use in the British language to avoid that?" It's speaking utter nonsense, and I'd be like, you don't know what I'm saying. But then if I go to Liverpool, I can't understand Scouse.
And do they have like a heavy like influence?
Scouse is like, whoa. Yeah, you'd struggle. Yeah, I struggle.
Man,
have you seen Clarkson's Farm?
I haven't.
If you've seen Clark, there's a character in that. He's not even a character; he's a real person called Jared, and he speaks with like this country accent. And I'm there like,
he's a real person called Jared.
Yeah, he's a top lad. I can understand what he's saying. No one else can.
Yeah.
And I'm there like, this is kind of weird. Am I broken?
No, dude. I see. That's what it feels like to listen to this. Like, I should understand this. It's there and it's English, but it's just gone.
No one does.
Do people do say that about like
Welsh? It's awful.
See, I would have thought Scottish, but you're saying that you struggle with their like dialect and accents.
I don't struggle with Scottish because we share a lot of the same terms. I'm only like an hour from the border.
Okay.
But with Welsh, I'm 45 minutes from the border and I can't speak Welsh, but I can speak like little bits of Gaelic. I kind of get. And I can like, oh, I know what you're talking about because I go there often.
I feel like globally agreed upon the Welsh don't even know Welsh. No one knows Welsh.
No. I went to like a random island off the coast of Wales and they all spoke Welsh and I was like, this isn't real. It can't be real.
Absolutely
they were
not.
Pointing at the microwave and going, poppity ping, and I was like, what?
What?
Like, what are you saying to me, you madman? And they're like, oh no, it's poppity ping.
That's so funny. That's how America makes fun of the British like slang though. Yeah. But you're telling me y'all have that with somebody else.
Yeah, with the Welsh.
Crazy.
It's like I went to Sweden with a mate from Wales, and it was hilarious because we just would. Just one thing led to another. We had like half a bottle of whiskey each in a sauna, and it just turned into like a berating match of like Wales is awful. To be fair, Wales is actually rather nice unless they're trying to tell you about a microwave.
Apparently,
you will struggle.
Poppity ping.
Poppity ping. It's close to Chef Mike.
I will never call it anything other than poppity ping. I just need you to know that.
I know. Have you seen the lady that says microwave?
No, why would she do that?
There was a British cooking show from many, many years ago, and she pointed and goes, now we're going to put this in the microwave. I'm like, what? Who called it's microwave?
Oh my god.
It's crazy.
No, I haven't.
Like, I think that's like a big thing here. There's like the north-south divide's like really hard. I don't know if it is in America, but it's like
yeah. It's insane.
Like for me, my salary changes where I'm located on the north-south divide because of where London is, and because I'm so far away from London. And if you don't know, Yorkshire is like 6 hours by car from London. I'm closer to Glasgow and Edinburgh than I am London, all the home counties. So my wage is like considered minimal compared to what I'd be earning in London. Yeah, I mean,
minimum wage is by state. It's crazy. LA, I think, is what, I don't even know where they are. I'm positive they make twice as much as we do in North Carolina. Same with New York. Connecticut is about to make twice as much as we make. And Connecticut's like
Connecticut,
Connecticut's the little one to the side of New York. All we really have, I guess, that to be like worldly known for would be what's it called? Yale.
Oh, it's Colorado.
Yale University. No, that's the other side. Yale University, like one of the Ivy Leagues.
Oh, I only know Yale from the. This is going to sound awful if you've been to Yale, but I only know it from The Simpsons.
I didn't
legitimately. That's the. I
No,
only know it from
I
that.
didn't go to. I applied to Yale. I got through to some interviews and everything. I just, I couldn't afford it, so I didn't get in, which was lame. They actually told me that. I asked them. I was like, I thought the interviews went rather well. Like, and I applied through a program that would have gotten me a scholarship. And they were like, yes, but there's like an expected family contribution, and since you don't have that, like, it's less likely for your application to be chosen. And I'm like, what? I could have taken out loans. I could have done this. I could have done that.
Like I could have financially.
I appreciated that the lady told me that is a factor, though. Like that was just
it's
crazy
like, at
to
least
me.
you're not going back and judging it like, oh, what did I do wrong?
Yeah.
It's more the system was like, no.
Yeah, which did make me feel better because I was like, all right, so I was good enough to get in. I was just too poor. Whatever.
Yeah.
I don't even need it. I was gonna go in for psychology at the time. I was like on a STEM and humanities kick. Yeah. That's not what I want to do anyway. It's fine. It was for the best.
I think that's the thing that people don't realize is we pay for university in the UK.
But
we're
you
not
guys,
like the other European countries.
Is you guys as expensive as ours?
It's not. It's getting there, but we also have the thing of like, if you don't make enough money, you don't pay the loan back, and then it just gets defaulted.
Gotcha.
So if let's say I leave uni and I don't make over, I think it's 25 grand a year, which in the UK is like minimum wage. You don't pay it back. You just gotta afford it.
Man, we are fighting so hard for loan forgiveness here. Yeah, that's.
And that it could have changed because I didn't go to uni. My employer paid for all of my education because I did like an apprenticeship scheme. Nearly finished. Come this September, we'll have a job. We'll find out.
Let's go.
So it's like it's different. I mean, I look at like America sometimes. It's kind of like, what's going on there?
What they doing over there?
What were they doing over there? Because when I was 12, my dream was to be like move to America. Part of me thinks it was the bias of I had an accent, so I'd be different. So I think that's like the big thing.
Yeah.
Of being there, like you grow up watching High School Musical and everyone sounds the same, and then like I look at myself and I go, I sound weird. What a hell of a place to be. That's the way to go. I'm gonna go sound funny in America.
That is such a teen mentality. I'm gonna go disrupt the local ecosystem.
And then I got a job and I was like, oh.
Honestly,
now I'm an adult and I have to do adult things.
Yeah. I mean, in America, it depends where you go, right? There's some people who will love a new and exciting accent. There's other people who will try to run you out of the country. So it just depends.
Not a place.
It depends. Yeah. I mean, at the very least, the one thing every country has in common is the socio-political divide. But, whatever.
It'd be what it be.
It'd just be.
It'd be right.
Nah, here currently, like loan forgiveness is like a hot topic, which I learned recently you can declare bankruptcy after like 7 years of like proving that you couldn't take on a loan, and I was like, why doesn't everyone do this? Is this like harder than it looks on paper? Because
I think it's because bankruptcy like has lasting effects on your
like on your credit score or whatever. But at the same time, it's like there's got to be workarounds. You know what?
There will be somewhere. It's just finding
yeah. I was trying to like look into what I would have to do to like do that and like still keep a sustainable like life if I wanted to like go down the having debt route. And I was like, oh, I think the term that I'm looking for is how do I commit fraud?
Yeah, it's up there.
I mean, some people do it. Some people get away with it. Man, how do I fake my own death? Yeah.
How do I go and live in Italy?
Steal my own identity, and now we're thinking big brain.
Oh, that all makes sense now.
Dude, there's just layers
now this
of
is where I'm like
this.
doing a cover up for the FBI. I'm like,
oh shoot, oh no, I gotta go. 5 shows over. 2023, I think, was an alright year.
50-50. But it is what it does.
I'd say the ups have helped bounce back from the downs so far. We'll see. It's depending on how 24 starts.
We'll see.
At the base of it, we're all just consistently going through it and finding reasons to keep going. So
I think it's
silver linings.
Particularly bad for me because like I had my first relationship ever come to an end, and
the pain.
I was like, oh. Young and in love, and then it burned and lost.
Better, I guess, earlier than later. It gives you more time to learn how to power through it and not become just a bitter old person about it.
You should hear British dating. Now that is Ooh, what a fun time.
I've watched Love Island once or twice.
I'm not gonna lie, I thought you were gonna say I've watched First Dates, and I was gonna be like, yeah,
No.
it's not far off.
Couldn't do it. I've seen the clips. Couldn't do it.
One of my friends from school's going on that.
No
I was
way.
there like, oh my god.
Oh.
I'm gonna watch all of that.
Wow, yeah, gotta know how that one goes.
Yeah.
Is Love Island as big of a deal though for y'all as it is here? So I feel like for States it's only online.
Do you also watch the British?
No, we watch the British and the Australian one. I think there's an American one, but
poor people.
Yeah, y'all's are just more interesting.
It is if you're that way inclined.
Mm-hmm.
So like my mother and my brother love it, whereas me and my dad despise it.
Right.
Because I just can't. It doesn't do me. If anything, it just makes me feel bad. I'm like, oh, these poor people.
Yeah, dude. Oh my god, publicly for like national. Like, I guess the upside is that a lot of them are like influencers, but
about it. Yeah, if you're doing it for publicity, you're doing the right thing because every woman, child, man, dog, frisbee will hear about this.
Right.
Because like it's all they talk about in the office.
Yeah.
Like, at 2:00 we have tea time. And yeah, for months at a time, that's all they talk about. It's like that in the Geordie Shore. I don't know why you people enjoy the Geordie Shore as much as...
Is that y'all's Jersey Shore?
It infuriates me, yeah.
Yeah. See, I didn't grow up with reality TV. Like, first of all, not a lot of it's on TV, just The Bachelor, which is essentially another dating show, right? Yeah. And my parents were never reality TV show types, so in my house, that's just like banned content. And so then, of course, once the internet happened, I was like, what's out there? And so it's chaos. I just, I'm like, again, on the publicity side of things, phenomenal. And so if I watch them, I'm like watching it like to see what are people gaining. I'm studying it, right? Like the communications major in me is just like writing all of this down. Love Island was like on a work trip. One of my friends who is super into the show was like, just sit down. It'll be a fun like background show to throw on, and it'll be just like mindless television. I was like, all right. And then you end up getting like invested in like the storyline. It's like, but she really likes him. And so like that appeals to like the person to person thing. And so I'm just like, man, I can't get sucked into this because I know like on the other side, a lot of it's just for publicity, so like it doesn't even matter.
Oh, for weeks after, all I'll see on like like on iPhone, if you like go to the left, it's like Apple News. It's like, Richard from Love Island meets girlfriend at airport, break up. And it's like, oh, Jesus Christ, man. Don't do that to me.
Right.
It's like, I've already had my own this year. Don't tell me about someone else's. Good God, man.
Terrible, dude.
Can't deal with this twice.
Terrible. Yeah, Love Island's the big one. First Dates, I've literally only ever seen online, just like in clips.
Yeah. So like First Dates it's kind of big here because it's on like it's on ITV, so it's not a BBC thing. So that usually means it's like pretty like it's not censored, but it's not as controlled. So growing up, my mother wasn't allowed to watch ITV because it was seen as the unruly channel.
Right.
It wasn't in the watershed. So no.
Y'all's MTV.
Yeah, I can't be doing that. It's bad. So that is what that is.
And so now it's just like unlimited content.
Yeah. I mean, I don't really mind Love Island.
Yeah.
But
it's a lot. It's a little bit of a lot, not gonna lie.
It's one of those accents in the UK that really just annoys me. Because they're all from like the same place in Essex, and I'm like,
That I will say, the accent is not my favorite
all, like,
of yours.
Screamy and high pitched, and I'm like, oh god.
It's the Valley Girl accent.
That is the Valley Girl of the UK's Essex.
It's just
because that's where all the posh people are.
Everyone's a frat boy or an e-girl, and there's just no other way about it.
They're all e-girls in Essex. I love it,
dude. No shade to Essex, I guess, of course. Disclaimer for the show.
North-South divide for the home counties. Nah.
All right. Well, out of loyalty, then I will stand by my statement.
Yeah.
Do you guys have? Because now I'm like on the like mental train of like TV show differences, because like The Office is huge here, but it's based on the British version. So now I'm wondering, are the spin-offs from other countries as big as the originals, or Like,
So
how do
The
y'all
Office
feel
is a
about
bit
it?
of a weird one. The Office is like really up there. Like everyone likes the UK US one.
Mm-hmm.
I prefer the US one because I feel like it's easier to watch because I don't cringe as much.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas when I watch the UK one, I'm like, oh, there is someone in my office like that. Oh,
So it's the
oh.
separation.
Yeah, so I'm there like I don't really want to be thinking about my office in this office with that office.
Yeah.
Whereas like the US one's like so much more lighthearted and like, oh yeah, this is pretty
See,
nice.
you say that, but I cringed so I couldn't get through the office. I tried to start the office like 2 or 3 times when it was on TV, and I hated it because I'm just like, this is that one weird boss that everyone has. Like, I didn't see the appeal of it. And it wasn't until, after when I started living a different life and I could actually sit back and watch the show, I was like, I see it now. This is kind of good.
Yeah.
I've seen some Reddit threads of people who have bosses like Michael, and I'm just like, how do you live?
I wish because like I could get so much more done because like I think my job's a really weird one because like mine's like local area manager from like Luton to Scotland, which is like over more than half of the country, and then it goes to regional, which is like the UK and the Netherlands, and then it goes to national, which is UK, Netherlands, Norway, Sweden, Denmark, Finland, and then it goes to global. So I have to deal with like all of these different bosses, and I'm like, I don't know who I actually report to anymore.
Right. Yeah. Okay, I could see how that would be beneficial.
So if I had like this one wacky boss, I'd be like, oh, you're nice. See you later.
You just do it all for that attitude.
Do some stuff.
Yeah.
It's not. It's like at the minute I just feel like I'm a number in an office.
Yeah.
I'm like they have it as well. Like oh, we're all one part of a team. And it's like you look at like the teams list, and it's like 63,000 people. It's like yeah, okay, sure.
I guess it all kind of just goes to show you always want what you can't have, because except for the radio station where I loved my boss, shout out to JZ, WECS 90.1 FM, best person that I think exists on this planet. Always. I've always had very my coworkers have been fine for the most part. Like I tend to try to get along with most everyone, and if I don't, then I'm not going to star something. I'll just stay in my lane, little box. That's it. But I've had more I've definitely had more overreaching bosses than not.
Yeah.
So for me, I watch The Office and I see someone like Michael who's always in everyone's business, and I'm like, conversation to me is fine. Like I'll talk to anyone about anything, even if you're an absolute weirdo, like whatever. Like that's the part that's interesting to me.
Why aren't you?
Hell no, dude, this one's been entertaining as hell from the start.
The weird thing for me is like the age difference. I'm the youngest person like in my team, and I'm 21.
Right.
So like I'm 21, and the closest person to me is like 40, 44.
Yeah.
So I can't relate to any of them. I'm just there like, they're all like, oh, I've been here like 20 years, and I'm like, yeah. I installed elevators for a year. I did some drawings. My manager went, you're in the wrong job. I'll transfer you. And I was like, okie dokie.
Yeah.
Okay. Does that come with benefits? Nope. Okay.
All right. Great. Good.
Do I get to sit in an office when it's warm? Yep. Do you get to sit in where it's cold? Yep. Oh, nice. I'll do it.
Insane.
Easy day.
Why not?
And now I draw.
And now you draw.
Yeah. Good times.
I mean, it's panned out for you so far.
So, well, yeah, we'll see. I've got some projects that are going a bit pear-shaped. We'll see. It'll be fine.
I know pear-shaped, by the way. I read that recently online. But it makes sense.
My favorite one. Got a pair of pear-shaped projects. So,
for anyone who doesn't know, that means when something's going not the way it should be going. When it's going topsy-turvy, to use a technical term.
Oh, God, it's even better.
Do y'all have topsy-turvy? Do y'all say that?
We do.
That's one. That's one of the ones that made it over the waves.
I don't think I could pronounce it, but
topsy-turvy.
If I was to say it in a sentence, it'd be like opsy-turvy, and I'd be like,
what? You just created a whole new word.
Yeah, same meaning.
Yeah,
terrible pronunciation.
That's true. Since we are back on the topic of things that are and aren't, and the general differences, which was the theme of the show.
Yeah.
I had another segment planned. Are you ready?
Right. Maybe.
We've all seen the headlines using units of measurement that are not really units of measurement. And it's become a meme at this point that Americans will measure with anything but the metric system, which is true. that's just kind of how it is. Unless you're like in chemistry or maybe medicine, you don't use the metric system. The only metric system I really have confidence in knowing is just because, like, you know, like I know most of like the
10. It all goes
the
together.
tens and the measurements. I know a centimeter, you know, like I know that, but like things like temperature, I can kind of gauge only because my family's Mexican, so I grew up hearing them like talk on the phone, like, oh yeah, it's like 25 degrees. So I can kind of guess them in like 5s and 10s, right? But I don't have like I couldn't tell you, oh, it feels like 14 degrees. I have to be like, oh, it feels like 70, which is around 15, so it's probably 15 degrees. In
so
that
I
being
have that
said,
the other way around.
Okay, it's a mental translation of it, or
I talk to like a lot of Americans like on Discord, and they're like, "Oh, it's 75," and I'm like, "What? Pardon? How are you alive? I would physically die."
Right. If that were Celsius.
Yeah.
But with that being said, I was going to ask you, because if I see a headline that says the length of 3 football fields, I don't know what that means. What is a football field? Is it regulation? Is it my high school's? Is it the one down the street at the park? What is a football field? How am I supposed to know that? And then I thought, I don't know what the actual length of a football field is. I know they measure in yards during the game, but if I were to mentally do the math, like yard times 3 for feet, and I was like, well, yard's about a meter, so there's got to be a measurement like that.
Feet.
British. Yeah, because a yard is 3 feet, but it's about a meter, but it's a little bit off. So I was like, okay, if you were to read that as a headline, you know, the size of a football field in metric, would you know what that meant?
Kind of. I'd have like a rough idea, but again, a very like localized version of this is, you know, during COVID, they were like, you need to stay 2 meters away from someone.
Mm-hmm.
Ours was done by, it's either 9 red squirrels, 2 Swaledale sheeps, particularly ewes, or the front of a Land Rover Defender. Not 2 meters or 6 foot. No.
Right. No.
2 Swaledale ewes, 9 red squirrels, or a Land Rover Defender.
What? That is so very specific. Are sheep this big of a deal? They've come up so many times in conversation.
My county's national animal is a Swaledale. Favorite sheep.
That's amazing. That's actually amazing. You know what's crazy? You're saying this and that sheep are this important, right? And as a unit of measurement, bald eagles are the national animal. You cannot kill one; it's a felony. And yet, I had no idea the size of these things ever. It's not a thing that was ever specifically taught.
Sound big.
They're large. I think whenever we went to the zoo, once I saw.
How many football fields are we talking? Like point 1 of a football field?
I'd say maybe like point 15 of a football field. Yeah, I have no idea. I don't know the size of a football field. But they're
practically big field.
They're big things, all right? I'd say I'd be willing to bet. I'm also really bad at measurements. I'm realizing now. I was going to say like about a meter or so. Like they're big creatures. Like I'm thinking of it standing beside me, and I'm like, all right, well, it's about 3 foot. Yeah, no, about a meter. But their wingspan is massive.
Oh no, maybe a full swale.
Can you imagine a bird being the size of a sheep? That's crazy. And so I was like,
it's really big.
Yeah, I'm like, we'll just measure anything except for actual measurements. That's just how it is.
I think the closest thing we have to is like the peregrine falcon.
Yeah.
And owls.
Owls are big.
I hate owls.
I love owls. What?
They scream and screech in the night.
Okay, but they're super cool and they fly like Batman.
They are. But at the same time, there's a big tree over there. 15 years. 15 years of constant screeching at night.
Well, did you consider that maybe you're in the owl's house and you should be more respectful of his territory?
You're gonna like turn up here now in the night.
You're gonna wake up and there's gonna be just like a mob at your door. It's the TV guy, the owl, and also David Attenborough.
I told you about this in class. You forget.
Oh, that's awesome.
It sounds so awful. Oh.
Okay. In any case, the activity is.
Yeah.
I have written down my favorite headlines that I've seen of funky measurements, and I wanted us to guess in both metric and imperial the length or the size of these items.
Right.
Because, you know,
Okay.
I think that's funny. So we'll start off easy, right? The length of a football field. Things get measured in football fields. How big is a football field?
Like 500 meters, maybe 750.
Okay, your guess is 500 or 750.
Now this is awful. Where the UK actually uses a hybrid system.
Mm-hmm.
I drive in miles per hour and measure in miles. I do everything else in metric, but my fuel is sold to me in liters, but measured in gallons.
Do you know the conversion rate?
No.
I don't either.
At the pump, it's just there, like, you spent £20, and I go, yes, I have.
Sure, why not?
I knew this was £1.90 a litre.
I just think a lot of the meme of the guy that's like, what the hell is a kilometer?
Yeah.
I have no idea. My dad's car is in Spanish. So like the numbers on
nice.
The numbers are in kilometers, and then the little tiny ones in miles per hour. I was driving, I was like, why do I feel like I'm going so slow? I'm going 45, and I'm like, oh no, I'm not.
Oh, I'm actually doing like 20.
Nice. It was so slow. I was like, oh man, I shouldn't be allowed in this car ever. Okay, length of a football field. 100 yards, I feel like, is a number I've heard said. I'm also not a big sports fan. So let's say 200 yards, right? 100 either side, because they do go both ways. I'm going to guess 600, because that's 200 times 3.
I could be right. I have no idea how long a yard is. So.
A yard is about a meter, 3 feet. It's off by a little bit. I don't know by how much. Yeah. But the length of a football field is... This is terrible. It tells me
we're both terribly, terribly wrong.
I actually don't know.
It just tell you it's the length of a
It's
field.
The length of 17 washing machines. No, it says a football field is 120 yards long from one end zone to the other end zone, and 53.3 yards wide. This is American football, I'm realizing.
Oh, right.
Oops. The goal. The goal.
Ah, my geez.
This is equivalent to a total of 57,600 square feet or 1.32 acres. What I'm realizing now is I don't know anything about measurements. So let's say 120, what was that? 120 yards in meters.
It's not going to be
109 meters.
I've severely overestimated how big you
So have I. I guessed it was 100 on either side, but it's 50 on either side. So I was off. But that doesn't make sense. Oh, I guess in feet. Hold on. 600 feet. So this is what?
600 feet like a fair amount, though, thinking about it. I always think about feet in like altitude because airplanes measure. I can think up and down in feet, but not side to side.
To think about feet like lengthwise rather than height-wise, I have to picture like I'm about 5 feet tall, a little bit over. So how many times would I like fit between here and there, or like arm span?
That's another Britishing of like I weigh myself in kilograms, measure my height in feet and inches, so it doesn't match up at all. So I know I'm 6 foot dead, but I also know that's 182 centimeters.
Okay, I don't.
Which is 1.82 meters.
Yeah, I think I want to say I'm 162 in height. Question mark?
Yeah, I can see it.
Hold on. Now I have to look up. What is 5'4" in centimeters? 5 feet 4 inches is 162.
I was going to say it sounds about 5'4"-ish.
Always embarrassing for 2 reasons. 1, that I don't know metric, and 2, because I remember I'm actually kind of short.
I was now like, 162? That's like...
a pocket size, dude.
To be fair, my cousin's the same height and she's a police officer.
Really?
She's quite possibly the scariest lady I've ever interacted with.
Terrifying. So, all right, that's giving me a little bit of a boost. When you know what
the sheep bandits at stake.
No, what I have to remind myself of whenever I'm thinking about like the tiny but mighty thing, because I'm like, what am I gonna do, right? But then I have a friend who's shorter than me, just like this tiny, small, itty bitty petite thing, and she's in the military. So I'm like, okay, if she's allowed to do that and passes all those requirements as someone that small, I'm like, you know what? It's fine. There's whatever. I'll be fine. Yeah, exactly. All right. Next one. Headline said, a sinkhole roughly the size of 6 to 7 washing machines. Roughly the size
washing machine
has closed the northbound lanes of the State Line Road near 100th Street in Kansas City, Missouri. Question is
6 to 7 washing machines.
How big is 6 to 7? Roughly 6 to 7. They didn't say 6 or 7. Roughly the size.
A washing machine comes up to about like
same. That's
it comes up to like under my desk or just above, and that's like
it's a small washing machine.
That's like that's the 160. I'm gonna say that's like. I'm getting the calculator out for this just because I can't times numbers together.
Right.
I'm an engineer. We won't talk about that.
Get him, boys! We got him on another one.
No. I'm gonna say it's like 8.75 meters.
Okay, I'm thinking a washing machine is about 4 feet, right?
4 foot.
Yeah, well, because 3 feet would be like shorter than I'm picturing. So
washing machines.
Oh, this is also a
This is like another. Is this
might be an American thing.
Mine's like
a normal size, and ours is massive.
Tiny. But you have like another room for them, don't you? Whereas mine's like in the kitchen.
Yeah, washing machine gets its own room usually, or at least its own closet.
No, mine's in the kitchen with the other things.
Okay, well, an American washing machine, 4 feet. And if it's 6 to 7 washing machines, 4 times 6 is 24. Which is 24 feet divided by 3. 8. That's about 8 meters. What did you say?
I'm saying 8.75 meters.
Okay, so we have a consensus, all right?
Yeah. I've just assumed that they're all like 125 centimeters tall.
All right.
Because I'm there, like I'm sure I've seen that on a thing.
I'm gonna see if I can find this exact article because I realize now that I should have done this before the show. Washing machine.
How big washing machine?
That's gonna be the follow-up question.
Yeah.
Okay, well, the article actually doesn't say, it just says that and then nothing else. I'm wondering if Reddit did the math on this.
Did they do the math?
Someone asked, could they convert this to something standard? And someone said it's 0.000000001 Rhode Islands. So they did the math, just not in a way that's understandable.
Times that out.
All right, let's find out. How big is a washing machine? The answer is about 24 inches. We're looking for height, right?
Yeah.
36 inches high for a small one, 44 for a large one. Let's go with small. 36 is 3 feet. It's 3 feet. 36 inches is 3 feet, yes. So I guess your answer would be correct.
Nice. I'll take that. I know a good washing machine when I see one. I've installed numerous washing machines. I don't know why.
Is that like a side hustle or just you've been doing that for fun?
Just my mum keeps killing them.
Oh. Maybe it's because y'all using it in the kitchen for cooking rather than for washing clothes.
Gee, I tell you, you can cook salmon in one.
Have you done this?
I haven't because I'm not a Neanderthal.
Okay. Next time that the washing machine breaks, that's got to be your experiment. Can you actually cook a salmon in it?
I feel like my mum would actually like lose her mind. What are you doing?
Have you considered that's why they keep breaking? This is her experiment.
Oh, it all makes sense now. Like, Mum, why is there tinfoil in the motor? Oh, I don't know. Why is there a fishy smell? It's salmon.
Salmon. All right. Next. That's actually what's happening.
You're not trying to swim in there, I promise, Mum. Can't swim.
All right. No, he's dead. He can't do it anymore. Next question. If someone says there's golf ball sized tail, right?
Right.
What is the actual size of a golf ball? I know what a golf ball looks like. I've seen a golf ball, but if you ask me the measurement of it, like what, like 2 inches maybe?
I'd say 1.5 inches, but I don't know what that is in metric, sorry. So I'd say like 7.5 centimeters.
All right.
75 mil.
2 inches or how many?
75 millimeters.
All right. In inches, it is 1.68. Right? 1.68 inches in, you said millimeters?
Yeah. 75 and a bit.
42.
42.
That's a fat golf ball.
That is a big golf ball, thinking about it. I've played golf like twice.
I think I've only played mini golf. I've never played real golf.
I've been told the golf ball is the same size, so you're on track.
At least there's that. I actually never knew that. I've always wondered, because the club is smaller. It's tiny.
Yeah. But the golf ball.
Do y'all have baseball? Y'all don't have baseball.
No. We have rounders.
Is it baseball or is it different?
This gets onto it's different, but not what is. The bats are smaller and the ball's smaller.
Because now I'm thinking, whenever you were talking about a porcupine and you did the circle with your hands, I was thinking, what's that size? Like a baseball, like a grapefruit? And I was like, are those even things that exist over there?
I was going to be like, a rounders ball, which is like about that big.
Right. That's smaller than a baseball, I think.
The rounders bat is like that big. But then we play cricket.
I know of cricket. I've seen that one in the movies. That one I've seen.
It takes like 7 days. We have tea breaks in between. It's a grand old time.
That sounds amazing. All right.
It is just an excuse to drink.
Well, I feel like that's kind of everything in your country, but
there's the lack of sun. Not a lot to do. It's raining all the time. It's snowing.
So this is what it is. It's drinking, and then it's broken down into regions, and your region got music.
Yeah, we got music and cricket. Yorkshire #1.
All right. Here is the final one. My favorite headline that has ever been a headline. And I'm trying to read through the article right now to figure out how large it actually was. Which we have an answer. Bless.
We have an answer.
All right. This is a real live headline. All right. A large boulder, the size of a small boulder, completely blocking eastbound lane highway 145, mile marker 78. Please use caution and watch for emergency vehicles in the area. So how big would you say is a large boulder the size of a small boulder?
A medium boulder.
No, it's the largest size of a small, obviously.
Like 200 centimeters.
Is that your final answer?
Yeah. I'm imagining a boulder that's big enough to like block a car.
Yeah, so I'm thinking of a car-sized boulder.
Yeah, it's like 2 meters.
All right. The right answer?
I'd be terrible at any game shows. This would be awful.
Dimensions and weight were given at approximately 4 by 4 feet. So
that's not tiny. That's
not quite. Yeah, I'm thinking
small rock.
That's like not even as tall as me.
I could move that.
Could you though?
Probably. I mean, my back would be done, but I could do it. I'd find a way.
Wait. There's a weight. There's a weight.
You could leave it.
How heavy do you think it was?
75 kilo.
I don't know what that is in pounds. 75 kilos in pounds. I can spell. 165 pounds is your guess? 75 kilos? And that's a boulder the size of a small boulder, right?
The weight of a person.
Yeah. About 10,000 pounds.
What's that in?
10,000 pounds in a normal measurement is 4,500 kilos.
So I might need a few more people to help me but I'd still give it a go. I could do it. Easy. Maybe.
Oh, that is so funny.
If I had a lever.
Okay, well, if you have
Engineer.
aid, yeah. If you use the engineering brain, of course, it'd be easy to move, even
if I
by
make
yourself.
the big rock into smaller rocks.
Now
How dense is this rock if it's 4 foot by 4 foot by 4 foot?
I don't know. I can link this in the description, and I'll send this to you.
I want to see this rock. How big's this rock?
This rock is crazy. Where is the chat box? Why don't I know how to use the internet?
I open the chat box and there's just a horse.
It's just a horse. This is amazing.
It's just Gary.
Hi, Gary.
Big man.
All right, here's the link.
That's it.
I also want to
be a
say
properly dense rock. That.
Yeah, I want to say that the sheriff page that posted this went and followed up after the large boulder, small boulder tweet with one saying the actual dimensions and weight.
Nice. 4 foot by 4 foot by 4 foot.
Yeah. It's not as big of a boulder as I expected. I've wanted that thing to be
easily
chunky.
You can get that into the verge.
I feel like if you were a car, maybe you could push it, right?
Yeah, he's got a ram bar on it. He could have done
just power through.
And it's like slippery, so if we do like the old school physics equation, just get rid of friction.
There you go. Exactly.
Easy done.
Engineering for the win. Hit us up for all of your boulder needs.
Yeah. Easy.
As our time draws to a close on this sporadic 2-hour episode of the podcast, Ewan, thank you so much for being here. Anyone that's watched, anyone that's listened, thanks for being a part of the chaos. Tune in next time for new nonsense and new guests, whether it's on Twitch, Spotify, your preferred podcast listening app, or of course, best radio station in the world, WECS 90.1 FM. Do you have any closing remarks or statements before we head to our closing song?
It's been a good time, been a good show. I've learned a lot about across the pond and your devious little creatures with needles and lying pizza rolls. And
Apologies on the behalf of the pizza rolls, but there are workarounds.
Bewildered. I'm gonna buy some pastry and do it myself.
Indeed.
You need a job doing, do it yourself.
And it'll all be fine. Or in your words, it'll
Beer 8.
There we go.
Beer 8.
All right,
Great
so that's it. That's the podcast. You've been listening to Podcast with a K, and I'm Karla with a K, signing off. We have one final song for you. Ewan, take it away.
Gotta be Wonderwall. It's from the north of England. It's one of the best. Manchester's born and bred. Only the finest. Wonderwall.
The podcast survived for how many years without Wonderwall mentioned? And now here we are.
Only took a Brit.
Only took a Brit to come on the show. You're the first British person on the show, so congratulations.
We've made it. One of a kind.
We've made it international, y'all. This is monumental. This is the first international appearance. Holy cow.
I'm bestowed.
Wild milestones for 2024.
Yeah. Someone from space next. That's
hell yeah. Oh my God. Imagine. All right. Which one of y'all's going to space? Let me know. Hit me up. We'll run the show. Anyway, here's Wonderwall.